What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this is my review of the Jin Fei Hu 601 aircraft. And I must say that this thing is the most stable aircraft that I've flown and tested in a while. So much that this is my new recommendation for beginners. This quad here in the mini size is my new choice for a beginner's quad that I'm going to be recommending. And the reason why is this thing just holds a really still hover, and it's very easy to fly. It doesn't fly too fast. There's not a lot of pitch on it. It does have a really nice yaw rate. The yaw rate could be a little bit faster, but it's nice enough to do some sports flying. But the pitch isn't very deep. This is on the X9's protocol though, so you might have seen me flying this quad in videos very fast and looking very nimble and doing a lot of acrobatics with it. But that's because of the deviation. This thing is a very docile and steady flyer with the stock transmitter, and it holds a really still hover, and you can fly this thing fast forward and let off the sticks, and it'll slow itself down really fast and then get back into holding a hover, and it hardly even drifts around too much. So I think this thing is just awesome for a beginner. The prop guards here work really well. One thing that I didn't like about it, these screws here that go into the prop guards actually holds the prop guards on and keeps the frame together. So if you remove those prop guards, the frame is going to be weak at this point here on the end. You still can fly it, but it just bothered me to have the ends of the motor pods a little weak and, you know, opened a little tiny bit. So I would recommend cutting these things if you get to the point where you're beyond prop guards. You're no longer a beginner, you're intermediate, and you can fly this thing pretty well. I would say cut the prop guards and leave the bottom part of the prop guards on. Just cut the 3 parts here, and then you'll still have something to securely hold this end of the motor pod together. So that's what I'm going to do to mine. But I really like this thing as a sports flyer. With the Devo, it flies really nice. A lot of deep pitch on it. Same fast yaw rate that it has. And it's just an awesome flyer. Now, it comes with 3-bladed props on it, so that makes it a little quiet. It's more quiet than the average quadcopter. And so, and it also gives it a lot of punch. This thing has a nice throttle punch. But I think that the 3-bladed props kill the battery faster than 2-bladed props would. I added some 2-bladed props from my X6050 from Huying Toys, and I think it was a little too much for it though. Those props were rather large for this. It flies really nice with them actually, but ended up blowing a motor. I don't know if the motor was already getting ready to go or what, but I just have to mention that I was flying it with those 2-bladed props on it, and I lost the motor. I had to repair a motor, so it flies nice again, the same way it did. The transmitter is the Lishy Toys style transmitter. I actually thought it was a Lishy Toys rebrand or something when I first got it, but it's not on the protocol that supports that claim. This is on the X9's protocol, like I said. There's a hexacopter that Latek. This did come from Latek. I bought it myself, but it was only available at Latek. I haven't seen it on any of the other websites, and they do have a hexacopter by the same company on there, and it looks the same. And so I really want to try that out. I think that's on the X9's protocol as well. If I'm not mistaken, Sebi Daki had tested that one, and he was flying it around with the Devo, and seeing how awesome this thing flies makes me really want to get that one. But this transmitter it feels pretty nice, not bad. The sticks don't press in. It has shoulder buttons here, and this shoulder button here does the flips. This shoulder button here, I think it changes the rates, but this changes the rates down here. No, this changes the rates here. I'm sorry. The rates are changed by the shoulder button, and this here puts it in headless mode, and this button down here puts it in return to home. So it does have return to home, and Then there's a camera button here, and there's a video button here. If you had a camera on it, mine does not have a spot even for the camera. There's a hole there, but it's empty. There's no socket in there. So I guess they're planning on implementing a camera version of this. This might be an early production run with it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I have to mention that one of the things that I didn't like about this is the lighting. The lights are actually multicolored. The lights change and alternate between colors as you're flying it. So you don't have a solid color in the front that's different from the color in the back. It just constantly changes colors, all four lights. But it is a nice night flyer just because of the fact that it has this bright LED on the front. This flashlight type white LED stays lit, and it's pretty bright, and it actually helps you keep orientation when flying this thing at night. So it is a night flyer, but I don't like the lights on the bottom of it. I just wish they would stop doing these colorful Christmassy lights. Some people seem to like it, but I really don't think that's good for night flying. Back to the transmitter. The transmitter takes 4 AA batteries, and you have all your trim buttons here, forward and backwards trim and left and right. And there's no throttle trim though, and there's no yaw trim on it. As I explained, these are return to home and headless function. The headless mode works okay, not bad at all. This thing flips, it does the cheater flips. Like I explained before in some of my videos, it climbs first and then does the flips. It recovers well off of all the flips because of the fact that it gives itself a boost of throttle before it goes into them. But I wouldn't recommend trying to flip this indoors because of that, because it hits the ceiling, especially without the prop guards on. These landing gear can be removed. Once you put them on though, it's pretty hard to take them off. I would rather fly it without the landing gear because the bottom of the motor pods actually can serve as landing gear for it to sit on. And there's no camera option actually as of now. So you really don't need those landing gear. Only other thing I can mention is the body of it actually feels like the body of the new Hubsan Plus models. It's that funny type of almost rubbery feeling soft plastic that seems like it's hard to break. So I think this thing probably would take some nice crashes. I have crashed it pretty hard a couple times, and the most that happened was a gap in the seam of the body, the top and the bottom, and I just snap it back in place and it's ready to go again. So it comes with an instructions manual. The instructions manual is in perfect English, so it explains everything pretty well. And it isn't half in Chinese, but you do have this English portion of the pamphlet here, and it's explained pretty well. And they only give you 2 sets of props, so that's a little disappointing that you only get 2 sets of props. And you do get a USB charging cable, and it did come with I believe it was an 800 milliamp hour battery. I seem to have misplaced it though. It's in one of my other aircraft. I really like this flyer. Really nice flyer. My new recommendation for beginners, that's the Jin Fei Hu 601 aircraft. Thanks for watching.